There are times when people are going to be moving. There are times when there's a water main break. There are times when there's different activities. We live in a very vibrant, active city. There are things that are happening. So this is a way you can always stay aware. As the mayor said, no one ever wants to get their car towed. Simply put, we don't ever want to tow your car. We have a very active, busy city. Our officers are busy. Our fire department's busy. The Department of General Services is busy. So the fewer cars that we have to ever put, the parking authority is busy. The fewer cars that we ever have to put a parking ticket on, the fewer cars that we ever have to tow, the more effective and efficient we can be. So when people are notified of incidents, when people are notified of things ahead of time, they can plan their lives out better, and we can operate as a city better. So go to our website, sign up on the Nixle platform. It allows you to get notifications from us. You'll get those on a daily basis, but you also won't get inundated with information that you don't need to know. It's active public safety information. It's a way to get notified. It's a way to get information that's vital to your well-being and to your life, so that way you won't get inconvenienced. In this city, it's important to know that. It's important so that way we can get vital information to you, so that way you won't be negatively impacted by the things that happen in an urban environment, that we want to make sure that we provide the most up-to-date information for you, so you cannot be inconvenienced by the things that happen in a city, so we can make sure that the quality of life for you is of the utmost importance for us. So thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Chief. And now we'll hear from Commissioner Panunzio.
Thank you, Mayor. This is a great opportunity to brief our residents and visitors on the process where we're at. As the Mayor mentioned, the beginning of the storm, there's always a beginning, a middle, and an end. The end is usually the longest. This is going to be taking about 2 weeks. We still have a lot of work to do. I want to talk a little bit about the storm. This was unusual. This was once in a lifetime in generation. Winter storm. It affected over 200 million people in the East Coast, primarily in the East Coast in the U.S. Freezing rains, severe cold across 34 states. So here in Albany, we were prepared. Our staff was on point and kept up with the storm. We had a crew out there before the storm even started, pre-treating our roads and mapping out the strategy for handle such a massive storm. Keeping primary roads open for police and emergency vehicles to get to someone called for help. That was our primary goal and important during the storm. We had no fatal accidents during the storm. You hear that throughout the media in other states. Unfortunately, accidents and fatalities did occur, but not in our area. Residents heard a message to stay home, and they were off the roads, which was mostly appreciated by our crew. Starting on the first night of our snow emergency, we had our crew working a 12-hour shift as implemented in our plan and around the clock. On the first night, we had about 208 staff members and 12 contractors and 14 haulers on call and present on scene. We cleared around 13,782 cubic yards of snow that night. And I want to be clear that that's a moving train, because we continue to haul cubic yards of snow that number is going to increase substantially post-storm. We'll have a final number. On the second night, we had about the same amount of contractors, and we cleared about 9,600 cubic yards of snow. Our people, our staff, were working hard during the storm and have continued to work hard during the regular schedule of the meeting. The work is not over for us, and the snow continues to be removed. We are utilizing weekly move-overs, as the police chief has mentioned, signage in neighborhood throughout the city to remove the snow. We have no more place to put the snow, and the piles are getting bigger and bigger as we go through. We expect a total cleanup in about, like I said, 2 weeks, 7 to 10 days, 14 days. Our crew continues to address crosswalk and that needed to be open. And now we're removing the mountains of snow at the crosswalks and intersection to give a clear view to the residents and to also the drivers. I want to mention that we might pause that this weekend a little bit because we're expecting another snow event, but then we will continue again as soon as the snow ends. We're enforcing the city code that requires property owners to clear public sidewalks and public right-of-way in front of their residents, and our department continues to tackle any sidewalk the city responsibility. We have been working with the Albany Police Department and Albany Fire Department to identify areas that still needs and are needing getting done. We anticipate a ramp-up of those efforts this weekend. Adhering to the move-overs is critical for our plows and our heavy equipment to remove the mountains of snow, so we can get 100% of our job done. We appreciate residents who have done their duty to move the car or move over and then come back when it was allowed to go back. Move their cars, as the chief mentioned. We're not in the business of towing your car. We're not in the business of giving you tickets. And the more cooperation we get, it's easier for us and faster for you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. All right, so a few points were made. This is the third leg of this race, and it is the longest. So I just hope that our residents, business owners can be patient with us as we continue to remove and clear snow. It will not happen overnight. The other main point to be made is that the city of Albany was ready. I know that we have received a lot of calls here, and in some cases, some complaints, which we accept, and we're always looking for ways to improve, but the city of Albany was ready and prepared, and as our commissioner mentioned, our men and women over at DGS, the police department, the fire department, the parking authority, they truly have been working around the clock to ensure that people remained safe during this unprecedented snowfall and continue to ensure that people are safe. I just want to close by reiterating, and Commissioner Panunzio mentioned there's more snow coming. There's more snow coming. Please sign up for NIXL. So many people whose cars were towed said, we didn't know that there was a snow emergency. And so to our residents, tell your neighbor who might not be on social media, who might not pay attention to the news, please spread the word that we want residents and visitors to adhere to our parking requirements. So please move your cars over if they need to be moved over to prevent being towed. We also know that people are still dealing with sidewalks that have not been cleared. We ask you to call 518-434-CITY. If your neighbor has not cleared their sidewalk and you've asked them multiple times, please report it to 518-434-CITY, or you can use C-Click-Fix. We encourage residents to sign up for C-Click-Fix also, and you can report it that way. And please sign up for NIXL. With that, thank you so very much. Thank you for your patience, and I'll take on-topic questions.
A question about, when you first started messaging ahead of the storm, obviously mentioning storms at the beginning, middle, and end, but you didn't quite, or city officials didn't quite say, this is going to be about a month all in, when you're saying that the next 2 weeks are going to still be cleanup. Do you think maybe you should have let the city know that we were in for about 4 weeks of storm and then aftermath, just so people had like a sense of how long this was going to take and how much kind of disruption there was going to be?
Thank you. That's a good question, a good point. Going into this, we were learning as residents were learning, in the sense that, and I'll let Commissioner Panunzio speak further. For me as mayor, I don't want to give people misinformation. And so as we were receiving the information, we were getting the information out in a timely manner. And so it wasn't about withholding information. It was about waiting and watching to see what the snowfall accumulation would look like. It also is contingent upon resources. It costs to have streets and sidewalks cleared, the trucks that are brought in, and some of those factors are outside of the city's control. We are utilizing vendors that other municipalities also utilize, and so it's very difficult to say, oh, we're going to have the streets and sidewalks in the city cleaned in a month's time, because it is contingent upon so many other factors. Commissioner?
Yeah, that's a very good question, but I just want to mention that the storm, we were getting numbers from the storm varying from 8 inches to 24 inches, and it was really an hour by hour prediction. So as the mayor said, we don't want to give wrong information. Last report I got was 10.1 inches. If we turned out to get 14.5. So the storm really dictates how we respond to it, and unfortunately, we can't predict the storm, and it is very difficult for us to make a tangible and say this is it, where that ambiance could change, wind could change, and condition can change. So. You know, it is something that we have to follow. The storm dictates our response. The storm dictates how we handle the situation. So yeah, 14 inches, it's a lot. And all at one time, we had poor visibility for a couple of hours. And the snow, as accumulates, that 14 inches now becomes 24 inches on the curb, because you have the 14 inches from the street plus 14 inches. So now it's the labor-intensive work that we need to go through and clear those mounds. So yeah, it's a good question, but the storm really dictates how we respond.
I've been here a long time, so in all fairness, whenever there's this much snow and whenever we're in this kind of deep freeze, it always takes a long time. I think what the mayor's trying to do is make sure that the community actually knows what we're doing and why it's taking this long. So I certainly understand people's frustrations, but maybe the frustrations are that we're actually trying to be communicative to people about what's happening. So I've been here a long time, and anytime there's this amount of snow, it's never gone and removed in 48 hours. It takes a long time for us to be able to do this. We have a lot of streets, a lot of on-street parking, a lot of one-way and narrow streets with people parked on both sides, and unless we're going to tow 2,000 cars and remove them completely off the streets and remove all the snow in 48 hours, which would take an amazing amount of vendors to come in and do that, and frustrate an awful lot of people, I think that would be an inappropriate response. So the fact that it's taking some time and we're doing it in a safe, efficient manner that's not interrupting everybody's life, I think is the responsible way to do things.
Thank you, Chief. And I'll just add, our ability to clean and clear is also, it takes partnership with residents and visitors to move the cars, and we had cars that had not been moved, which slowed down our operations. Some of you who, the day of the snow emergency, I was driving down Washington Avenue, and we had trucks lined up. They were lined up waiting because they could not get down one of our streets because the cars were still parked on the wrong side. And so those vendors were here, they were ready to work, get to work clearing, and they had to sit because we were waiting for residents to come out and clear the street and move their cars. And the other point that was made in millennial talk, young people talk, Mother Nature is undefeated. We cannot outdo and outpredict Mother Nature, so we do our best. Other questions?
I have like a two-part question about the notification. Is there a way to kind of notify residents more when there's noticed requested streets for there to be relocation? Like that there is a way to notify the people that, oh, there's, I don't know, 18 cars on this one street. Try to get any kind of neighborhood cooperation going on that. And I saw as soon as it turned 8, there was like a line of tow trucks. Seemed to where there were many violators. And also for like Washington Park, I know that we notify for like Freihoffers Run, like a lot of events that are good for the city, days in advance, don't park in the, but around that, there is no emergency, snow emergency, you can park in the park for the overflow lots. I was on the website looking, parking myself, and found it kind of confusing. And even in the area, I was unsure because there was not even a piece of loose leaf saying this is considered the overflow lot. So it was hard for me to know where to park without the concern of getting towed. And I think that was a little concern of a lot of public because there's more than 300 towed.
Thank you for that. I think that there are always ways to improve communication. We live in a densely populated city with diverse groups of people, from young people to seniors, and not everyone is on social media, not everyone pays attention to the news, and I recognize that. What we did for this particular snowfall, I was 2 weeks on the job here, but I knew that we were going to have challenges with making sure that our message was getting out to the masses. To address that, we activated our community partners. So instead of just posting things on our social media, on our website, we also sent out communication to other elected officials, community partners, faith leaders, neighborhood associations, the school district. We sent the message out far and wide because we understand that they have a constituency that we may not be in touch with. And so that was activated promptly, sending correspondence out to community partners, and we did that throughout our snow response. We also worked with our county exec to open up additional lots to make it convenient, and we had several press conferences, again, updating information constantly, understanding that people are still, going to miss communicating with some groups of people. We have taken all of this feedback into consideration, and we're already preparing for the next snowfall, hence why we've been saying today, sign up for Nixle, sign up for Nixle, sign up for Nixle. We are also going to implement additional strategies, more signage, because we know that people receive information differently. People are looking for those signs on trees and more conveniently located for the person who's not on social and not paying attention to the city's website. So we hear residents and business owners and visitors loud and clear, and we will continue to work to improve sandwich boards. We've talked about having those more visible in the future. Chief, did we have those up for this? No, the sandwich boards?
We had the variable message boards, but we did not have the sandwich boards.
Okay. So we are always looking to improve, and thank you so much for that question.
As you kind of are working on messaging and like obviously the crooked timber of humanity that it maybe isn't always paying attention or are out of compliance either vocally or not, you're also by the 14th you're going to add some new residential parking zones. That's going to be happening amidst all the other cleanup and so forth. Has any thought been given to delay that to get the message out? I know I've heard from people that it's come as a surprise to them. They had no idea it was coming. Do you think doing the parking and the cleaning of the streets and then also changing some of those parking rules in a couple of neighborhoods, doing those at the same time is going to add to confusion?
There's always a risk for adding to confusion. What we are attempting to do is simultaneously, again, keep the communication flowing and keep updating residents on some of these changes that are happening in real time. The expansion of parking is something that some of our residents have been wanting for a very, very long time, and I wouldn't want to delay that. And so it's on us to continue to communicate, but we also need residents to help us with getting information out, our neighborhood associations, other community partners, so that it cuts down on the confusion more so, and we are still able to be responsive to what our residents want and need, and more parking is something that people have been asking for. You had a question?
Yeah, sorry if this was already said, but some of the fees, I understand, have been waived. Of the 300 vehicles towed, those who were fined, how much did it cost residents per vehicle, and what will the money be used for?
You mean, what was the fee for the ticket?
Yeah,
that-
towing fee, parking fees, anything like that.
Do you have those numbers?
I mean, the parking fees are, it's a relatively standard ticket. It's $50? $50 for snow obstruction. For the tow fees, I'm not sure what the tow fees are, the 195 or?
Yeah, it's a little under 200.
Yeah, 195 tow fee for the car. So parking fees, the parking tickets, money goes to the city. The tow fees, I think, mostly go to the tower. They all go to the tower. Yeah, so the tow fees go to the tower, parking tickets go to the city.
Last question. So, more on the statistics side of things. So where will the snow be dumped, and then also how much of the percent of the city still needs to have snow removed?
First of all, every storm is different. One of the things that we did plan, and I'm sure after this is all done, we'll learn things, how we can do things better after this storm. Every storm, it's amazing how you learn something to improve things better. The snow is currently being dumped. Our facility, DGS, we have an area designated that's called a snow dock. That's where the haulers and our trucks now are taking it from the streets and staging it there. And hopefully, I'm sorry, Mother Nature will do their thing and start melting it, and goes back into the system. As far as that used to be also a thing that we learned from past snowstorms. We used to have different snow docks, and now we have a more centralized and more in-house. It doesn't cost the city anything other than stage the. What was the other question?
The percentage, if you have how much snow still needs to be.
We different zones are different. We're about 80% completed. We have again, looking at each individual neighborhood, it's unique, and might be 80% in one neighborhood, 90% in another. It all depends on cooperation and how fast we can get our heavy equipment now to pick up this big mounds of snow and put it in our truck. So we're well ahead.
Thank you so much, everyone. Appreciate you guys coming down.
Thank you.
Thank you all.